Before we get into it, I want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm recording today, the Whadjuk Noongar people. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, because it always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Hey, this is Zero Filter, and chances are you like your conversations messy and unfiltered. I'm Fei, and every week I'll be tackling everything from relationships and politics to sex work and personal growth. This is where the messy, uncomfortable, and hilarious collide. So let's buckle up because it's going to get real. Welcome back to Zero Filter. Oh, gosh. If you are new here and this is your first time watching, listening, any of the above, I'm Fei. I'm your host. And I like to get on Zero Filter and talk about things that need to be talked about. But today is a special one. Today I thought, how about a Q&A with little old Fei? So I've reached out to some of my friends, people that follow my Instagram, people that follow Zero Filter on Instagram, and just ask me anything under the sun, and I will give you my honest, no filter response. So let's jump in and see what we've got. We've got some really, really cool ones, to be fair. So, will you ever plan on showing your little one on the podcast? I've listened to every episode and babe, you're awesome. 1, thank you. 2, I have spoken to Luna about this and I've been like, yo, what do you think about being on my podcast? She's super even when I come home from dance and I want to show her my dance things, she's just like, I don't really want to see it. So she knows that I'm doing this podcast. She knows that, you know, it is what it is. I definitely think she will be on at some stage. I think it's just more or less like when the time is right. I think maybe when she's like around 13, if I'm still doing this in a couple of years, then obviously like 100%, you know, even just like getting on some kind of subject of when she goes to high school in a couple of years, you know, all of these things I think about, and I think she's such a beautiful, wise kid that I think having her on here would be so amazing. But then there's like, you know, I don't want to have my kid on the internet either. So if you do follow my Fei Luna Instagram, I don't really post her much at all, especially in her younger years now that she's like nearly 11. I post her when I do, but I try to keep her away from that. So yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things to consider when putting your child on the internet, and especially on a podcast. Maybe I won't do it where I'm filming. Maybe I'll just have her talking. But yeah, that's definitely something I have thought of. The next one is, you're pretty fit. Do you only do dance or do you do gym for fitness? Now, to be completely honest, I only just started working out like not full time, but like working out most days of the week. This maybe like late last year. Before that, I would go to the gym every now and then, but it was like, I reckon I could count on like 2 hands, like how many times I've been to the gym. Yeah, now I just do reformer Pilates like 4 to 5 times a week. And I also dance 2 to 4 times a week. Yeah, I've been dancing since I was like 11, but I did gymnastics and acro from like 4. So I started off with rhythmic gymnastics and then I went into acro, and then I was state team for acro, and then I moved to Perth and I started dancing. And then I took some time off, like obviously when I had a baby when I was 24, and then started stripping when I was 27. So dance has always been in my life, whether it's like rhythmic gymnastics, which is like dance incorporated gymnastics. It's just always been there. So I'm very blessed for the body that I have, because I feel like gymnastics and dance has really kind of like kept that figure, and genetics. Like, I hate to say it, but my dad does not work out and he looks fit. So yeah, I am very privileged. But I do a lot of work now that I'm getting into my mid-30s. I am starting to like notice like pain and, you know, niggly bits and stuff that isn't budging. So, you know, I'm doing what I can. But yeah, I'm doing a lot now. Like I'm obviously work on the weekends, and then during the week I'm like Pilates, dance, beach, podcast. Like that has been my life. And then obviously have a child and friendships to maintain. So yes, I don't just dance. Okay, would I like to have more kids? This is a tough one, and especially if you listen to my mother wound, and then the recent one on the Madonna Hall complex, and I guess all of my podcasts I've kind of brought it up around like my relationship status and where I'm kind of at mentally with that one. And like, of course I would love to have another child, not of course, because of like, but for me, if you know me, I would really. Oh my God, why am I getting teary? What the hell? I'm not even due for my period. Time's running out. And I've been single for such a long time that, you know, there's a part of me that's like, I just don't know if I'm going to meet someone that I'm going to want to have children with in the time frame that I've got. And I know that my mum had my youngest brother, when she was 38. And I know that it's still on the cards. I'm 34 in June, so I've still got some years ahead of me. And obviously I keep saying these words, but my brothers have just had babies, and like in a year and a half they're going to have 3 kids between them. Like, get it guys. But yeah, I feel left out, you know. Like, my youngest brother is about to have 2 kids under a year and a half, and my middle brother has a stepdaughter who's 5, and he's just had a baby a month and a bit ago. And I was the first to have a child, and now I'm the only one that's not going to have 2 kids. So not that it's a competition, but I am competitive, but not in that. But I feel like these kids are going to grow up together. Oh my God, I'm getting so emotional. Family is huge to me. And yeah, I guess I miss my brothers, and I miss my nieces and nephews, and I wish that I could join them on this journey, raising children together like we were, and being able to see them all the time. And I'm going to see them in 2 days, so I think that's why I'm like heightened emotions, because I'm just so excited. And I love them so much, and I love my sisters-in-law, and yeah, I wish that I could have more kids. I wish that they could grow up with my nieces and nephews and my brothers, because they're amazing uncles and their partners are amazing aunties. So yes, my sister-in-law asked me this question as well, so it's like, whoo girl, you're getting me in the bloody feels, and I'm so excited to see you. Anyway, oh, teary girl. Okay, best childhood memory, also from my sister-in-law. Carrying on from what I was just talking about, my favourite memory from my childhood oh my God, Belle, fucking hell, you're hitting me in the feels. Like, any people that are out there that are so close with their siblings, how hard is it to not be with them? Like, Jesus. My favourite childhood memories is with my brothers. Like, I definitely am so blessed to have 2 brothers that are my besties. I think my best childhood memories would be riding our bikes. Like, we used to have this big, like, bushland across from, and if anyone's from Darwin, it was like Nemalak Drive, and there's like the Ludmilla bushland where they used to have like the dirt jumps. And so I think like just like exploring around there, and there's like a lot of creeks that go through there. Any kind of creeks, anything to do with the bikes and the creeks in Darwin was definitely the pivotal moments of my childhood. Just like me and my brother Leroy would like get all of the mud and clay, and we'd come back and give each other, like not give each other, but like give ourselves like clay mud baths and make like all these mud cakes, and like absolutely drive mum wild because our whole driveway would just be covered in clay. And the trampoline, like we grew up pretty poor, and I got a trampoline for my 10th birthday, and I think we had that trampoline for freaking well into my teens. Like, it was hanging on. But yeah, just like lots of soap and the sprinkler under the trampoline, and so many beautiful things. But it's always with my brothers. Like, I just had them always with me, and obviously I was the older sister and would look after them a lot. So it was, yeah, they're definitely such an amazing part of my life. Childhood, adulthood, all of the above. I'm going to stop crying now, I promise. This is a random one, and I'm just going to say it because I think it's funny and it's my favourite food. But what is the best form of potato? I would say all forms of the potato, but I'm a weird one. Like, I love raw potato. And if you keep seeing me look this way, it's because my MacBook is like right here and my face is there. So when I was crying, I just kept like looking at myself crying, but I think I'm just going to close this down. So I stopped looking at it. Okay, perfect. My favorite potato would be, I would say like a potato bake, but I also love roast potatoes, like real crispy, like cooked in like ghee. Oh, with gravy. Stop it. Yum. But all potatoes are the best potatoes. And yeah, as I said, I love eating raw potatoes. I'll be chopping up potatoes to make whatever, and I will literally just eat raw potato, put a little bit of salt on it. Comment down below if you do the same thing, because I've only ever met like one person that's the same as me, and love her to bits. Hold on. If you live in Perth, ice matches from Finland Sons go off. Yum. What would I consider red and green flags in dating relationships? Red flags for me would be lack of communication. And in saying that, I don't expect someone to reply to me all the time. But if you're going to like have extended period of time where you're not, it's just like, or like anything, just kind of like being like, oh, hey, I'm going to be busy from this date until this date. Like, please don't get offended. Just like that open communication. I think when men or women don't have that, or gays and they, don't have that. And I know that it's such a double-edged sword, and my Libra moon is coming out here. Like, I see all sides of the story. Like, social media and phones on us all the time have made us feel like we need that communication all the time. But I think if you're interested in someone and you're pursuing them, then you should definitely have this open communication to not let them get into their heads. But it goes both ways. If you're feeling that, then maybe you should be like, hey, haven't heard from you in a couple of days. Just checking in, making sure everything's okay, blah, 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 blah. Like, I love open communication. So that's a green flag. Red flag would obviously be the opposite. What else would I consider a red or green flag? I honestly can't think right now because my brain is just like not in relationship mode. Open communication is just such a big one for me. Like, communication is like key. Like, if you've ever been ghosted and someone's just not replying to your texts, and you literally start to spiral and snowball all of these things, and you start to doubt yourself and your worth and all of this stuff, and it all comes down to communication. And I think like if you can just be honest and upfront, if you're not feeling something, if you are feeling something, just let the person know. If you can't message for a few days, just let the person know. Like, it's not hard if you're interested in someone, and if you're not interested in someone, just tell them, because how are they to know? Like, that's pretty much it. Like, I'm a Gemini, sun, a Libra moon, and they're the most sociable planetary things in the star signs. Same as Virgo, we're ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of communication. So for me, I need that communication. I need that like emotional intellect. I need that stimuli in my brain holes to connect with someone. Like that is my connection, and I know everyone is different, and I don't think that this might work for anyone or everyone, but for me they're my things. I know this sounds shallow as fuck. This isn't a red or green flag. I'm not even going to say it. I really like fashionable people. Like, but that's not a red or green flag because that doesn't mean, but someone that isn't going to be, someone that's been around children and has like nieces and nephews or kids and understands like parent-child relationships a little bit more than someone that isn't. And that's not to say that I would never date anyone that hasn't been around that, but just understanding that me being a parent, like she is number one. And if you're going to get jealous over a fucking 10-year-old daughter of mine, then you can fuck right off. Like, nah. That's definitely a big red flag for me, and it's been something that's come up in my past. But yeah, I guess just don't be like me. No. What else would be a red or green flag? I'm obviously reading these and not really thinking about them, but my brain, I like to like do that and really kind of come up with what's authentic and not really like delve too much into it. A green flag for me, someone who can make me laugh, like, and hold a conversation and have emotional intellect and integrity and be able to be self-aware of themselves, self-aware that they're hilarious, self-aware, like not insecure. If you're insecure in the slightest, red flag, see you later. Just someone that has goals and ambitions and wants to do things with their life and not feel like they're wanting it from me to fill a cup. And like, I want two people to have both of their cups filled and doing things for themselves and making themselves happy and going out there and like being alone for a while as well. I feel like you need to be alone, whether it's like recently or not. Like, just learn to be with yourself and by yourself and know how to like be alone. Like, look at me. I'm talking to a fucking tiny little camera with a thing and I'm stoked. Like, I don't need anyone besides Lune. I need her in my life, 100%. And my mum and my brothers. Besides family, I don't need anyone. And Alicia, fuck. Okay. I don't need them though. You know what I mean? I don't need them every single day to make me happy. I don't need them by my side all the time. Like, I don't need to go to the cafe with someone. I don't need to go to the cinemas with someone. Like, I am happy doing shit alone and doing my own thing. Like, I'm running this podcast. I'm going to Pilates. I'm going to dance. Like, I'm doing these things that make me happy for me. And so I don't need a partner, and I want someone else to feel the same. I want someone else that is happy being alone, but we make life even better. Like, it's like when you, like having a best friend, you know, a best friend that's a partner. That's what I want. Okay, that was a very long answer to that question. Whoa, what happened? Did you think about being a sex worker during your early 20s, or was it all perfect timing? Okay, so story time. When I was younger, I used to go underage clubbing, and I obviously was in Darwin, not obviously, but I was in Darwin, and I went to this nightclub and it has lots of like podium dancers, you know, like they're like just in like boy legs and like a singlet, and they've got like the we call them garters, but they're not, but they're like the things like the ravers wear that go over. You see all the fluffy ones that are like a thing now. We used to wear them and dance on like a podium. And I saw them and I was like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm going to be one of them. And I shit you not, the day after I turned 18, I started dancing there. And we used to have this night on Tuesdays called TOT, and it meant tequila on Tuesday, but it then became Tits Out Tuesday. And they would have wet t-shirt competitions, and they would get strippers from down the road, and they would come in and they would just like dance. They would screw the poles in. We had like 2 little holes on either side of the whole like stage, and they would screw the poles in. They would do like a little like show and just get their tits out. And so I started helping run like the wet t-shirt competition, and I started talking to like a lot of the dancers that would come in. And then me and the podium dancers on a Wednesday after TOT, we would go to the strip club down the road, and we just ended up becoming friends with a lot of them, with the management, with everyone. And it became just a thing that we always did. Like the girls would come in on a Tuesday, they would dance with us, and we would go out into their club on Wednesday, so on and so forth. And so I was around strippers a lot during my early 20s. And I guess it was like not all that glitters is gold, because, or in a sense, because I would look at them and I'm not going to lie, I would judge them. And I would have a certain stigmatization towards them. And I'd be like, oh, I bet like they do heaps of coke, or, you know, these silly little thoughts that I had as like an 18, 19-year-old. And it's just so wild to me that when I did become a stripper, like it's so far from the truth of what I thought they were doing. Even though some of them were my friends, I was like, oh, they're very hypersexual. Like, they must love having sex. Like, they must love doing this and that and this and that. And like, I'm just like, I hate myself for having those thoughts. But I was so naive and I just didn't know. And I was just going off what people now think of me, probably, you know? And it's wild because you don't understand it. You can be around them. You can have friends that are like them. You can have this and that. You can manage strippers. But until you become one, it's like becoming a parent. Until you become one, you have no fucking clue what it's like. Like us girls, like we'll go into the change room and like we'll be like shoving our faces with burritos, like picking our nose, doing shits. Like some girls are literally eating like salads, like celery sticks, and drinking cacao and like tea. And then we go back out there and act like the sexiest, horniest motherfuckers in the world. But it's so far from the truth. Like, it's a performance. Sorry to ruin your illusion, your fantasy. But yeah, so what I thought was completely wrong. And I just was like, yeah, nah, it's not for me. All good. Like, get it, girl. And then I had Loon. And I went on this massive spiritual journey and learned like how to be sensual and sexual with myself, and that it's, you know, I can be sensual with myself and it doesn't mean that it's sexual. I can be naked and it not mean that I want to fuck. Like, doesn't matter what I'm wearing, like, or how I'm acting. It doesn't give you consent. All of these things that kind of you mature and you grow up and you learn these things and you learn about life. And I learned all these things as well as like being in sales from like 15. So I kind of just put them all together, and I was spending hardly any time with Loon. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I know how to dance. I know that, you know, I know my worth. I know I'm a strong ass woman. I know that what I'm doing doesn't mean that it consents to anything else. And I've done acting school. I know how to perform. I'm an authentic person that knows how to sell. Like, why not combine the whole lot and just give it a go? And that was 6 years ago now. And yeah, like, to be honest, when I was in my early 20s, I never thought I would be here. But I wouldn't fucking change it. Like, the life that I live, I'm so grateful for, to give Loon, to give my mum, to give my brothers when they need it. Like, it's one hell of a journey, but why not? Like, we're on this tiny floating rock. Like, why not try everything, right? To an extent. to an extent. So this question is, can I give a brief breakdown of what the planets are in a birth chart? So for those of you that don't know what a birth chart is, it is pretty much in astrology. It's kind of like when you come out, mum gives birth, and say little Fei's right here, and then it's like a screenshot, and it goes, screenshot. And it's where the star, so a star sign is the constellation of a star in the sky. So when you look out and you see what's the Australian one? Southern Cross. So that's a star sign because it's a star constellation. Anyway, so where the planets are, Mercury, Venus, Mars, etc., where those planets are, the sun in the sky, whatever star sign, star constellation they are in, is something else in your birth chart. So, for example, the sun is your ego, your identity. It's like your life force energy, how you, your essence in life. So, for example, I am a Gemini sun. So the sun was in the Gemini constellation when I was born. Where the moon was in Libra. So your moon is your ego. No, sorry. The moon is your emotional being, your inner world. So most people with their moon sign will actually feel more like their moon sign than their sun sign. And that's why people are like, I don't believe in this. No, I don't. Because they look at all of these things, say in the newspaper, horoscopes and whatnot, and they go, yeah, but I resonate with that. And it's because you might have that in your chart. All right, so let's rewind. Your moon is like your feelings, like it's your emotional default. So like how you feel in certain situations in life, it's like how you react. Your Mercury, which is, again, so if you think where Mercury, the planet, was when you were born, what constellation it was in, is how you communicate, so when they say Mercury's in retrograde, it means like Mercury looks like it's retrograding, it looks like it's going backwards in the sky, but it's not. But it just means that everything that Mercury means, so communication, contracts, thinking, how you process things, like how you write things down, XYZ, it all kind of like goes rewind, and then it's like you can't get the words out properly, you send a text or you read a text wrong, contracts fuck up. For example, like last week when I was trying to film this and the filming just kept fucking up. That's all to do with Mercury. Okay, next one is Venus. And Venus is the planet of like love, how you view art. It's all about like how you want to be loved and how you love. So it's like how you flirt, what you're attracted to. And that's why art comes into it, and money as well. Venus is money as well. And I think that's also in retrograde at the moment. So until mid-April, and Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 7th of April. So it's coming up. So just hold on tight. But yes, so a lot of things are kind of retrograding in those two areas. But it also, like when they're retrograding, it means like recalibration, rewiring, rethinking. It's all the re's that you can think of. All right, let's get on to another one. So Mars is how you fuck. No, but really, Mars is how you do things, how you get things done. And so a lot of times people will talk about when they look at their Mars, it's about how they get it on. So also it can be like your assertiveness, how you deal with like being told what to do, or how you tell people what to do. So it's very much like your how you do things planet. Next one we have is Jupiter. So that's like the planets rotate around Earth at different paces, right? So the sun is obviously the fastest, and that's why we all obviously go with our sun sign as what we know the most. I feel like this should be a whole podcast just on this. Maybe I will, but I'll just do it quickly. Jupiter is like luck and expansion. So in your chart, I'm just going to go through it because these ones travel around longer. So they're more of generational planets. They're also Saturn and Jupiter are the planets of social. Saturn is responsibility and discipline. So how you are like, think of like how you react to police or your boss, etc., etc. Uranus is about the rebellion. So how we innovate things and go against the grain, and how that generation, it's always a generational one. Like Saturn, I think, is like 30 years it goes around Earth. So you can see these ones are way more generational based, about like how you break the mold in today's society, or how you like make those shifts in life for yourself. Neptune is the planet of like your dreams. It rules like your intuition, your fantasy, dream-like states, all of that. So obviously, like with these, then you would look at, say, if I have it in Scorpio, like the Scorpio is very like underworld, the darkness. They hold a lot of the in their side, their shell, because they're a Scorpion. They're very like intuitive, and so how would that like Scorpios in Neptune, like they would be more spiritually aware. They would be more psychic. Those kinds of things that you would look at. Pluto is the last one on your chart regarding planets, and that's all about like deep transformation. And now these ones, like for example, I think like Neptune, one of the planets just went back into Aries, and it hasn't been in Aries since the 1800s. So you can see like these planets are like way more like our lifetime based, what's happening. And so this year there's so many planets like changing out of like 79, 80 year, 100 year transitions, which they haven't come back into circle in, you know, a long time. So that's like way more generation centurial like things that are going to be happening regarding that. But if you guys want me to go more into your chart, like there's so much more than just the planets as well. You've got different nodes, you've got houses, you've got so much to do within astrology based, which is something that I'm super passionate about. Even when I'm in my dance classes with Shanae, she'll say something and she'll be like, and I'm like, oh, it's because like Mercury and Venus are in retrograde right now. And she's like, I knew it. Thank you, Fei. So shout outs to Shanae. If you want to go to House of Honey's Monday class, 6 p.m, be there. But yeah, on to the next question. I'm getting a little bit sweaty. Do that, my little guys here. Hi guys. Actually, like I have tooth gems on my teeth, and this guy here, I put like tooth gems on his teeth. I don't know if you can see it from there. And this one Caitlin is named, but I can't remember his name. So Caitlin, write a comment, tell me what his name was again. Caitlin's my brow lady. Doing so many shout outs. Star brow, go get your brows done. All right, what's next? How social media affects dating. Why do I wish it was just wiped? Oh, girl, they, them. I'm just saying girl in like you could be a boy, brother. I hate it. I think it makes us so crazy because sometimes like, you know, I have been ghosted and, you know, I've gone on to the guy's Instagram and gone through his following and just compared myself to the girls that are on there, and I think that's so unhealthy. But it's like when you've been ghosted, you're like, what is going on? Like, I'm getting no answer. And I know that, you know, it's easier said than done to just be like, oh, girl, just block him, be on your way. But it's not always that simple. And I think that social media, like especially when they, you know, and ghosting is such a thing where it makes it like, I understand that they're probably going through something that they just don't have the capacity to actually say something to that person. And I get that, but it's still not fair. And it's just like to watch someone like post online and post on their stories and that highlight reel and then not reply to other people, I think makes it so much more ouchies in the feels. And I think like, yeah, just having that like constant like, oh, are they looking at other girls? Am I just a number in the rotation or roster or whatever they call it? Like, I feel like it's so much more easier to feel like you're just a number with social media, because so many girls are looking like these amazing, and they are, I'm not saying that they're not, but you know what I mean. There's so much more variety. People are just like, oh, I could have that one, or I could have this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. And that's how social media makes us feel, like our life is never good enough and we need to do this and we need to edit this about ourselves and we need to put this filter on and blah, 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 blah. So, yes, I agree. Social media is so hard, especially in this new age dating world. You know, you see people being like, oh, I'm not going to date someone if they have like lots of followers on Instagram. And that's something that I kind of get like when I'm on Hinge and or Tinder or whatever, and they go, can we talk on Instagram? And as soon as they follow me, we talk for a little bit and then they're gone. And I'm like, is it because I have a large following? Is it because like I model a lot? Do they want someone that's more like, you know, I start comparing myself or doubting myself, which is normal. It's fucking normal. Everyone doubts themselves. I am so confident within myself. I am so good at like, I know I'm a hot bitch. I know that I'm not a bitch, though. I'm definitely not a bitch. I know that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm kind. I know that I'm worthy of the greatest love in history. But social media does play such a big effect in people, what they want. And I know that sometimes my Instagram can look like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yes, I agree. I think social media plays a big part, and especially with highlight reels and what we post on there, a lot of people can be put off or not want that or think that they can get better. And I think it is very detrimental to the dating scene of today. And, you know, it's also like I saw this article and it was about in the last 100 years, it was like like a chart. And it was like how people would meet their partners. And it was like the first one was like from friends and family. And then it's like over the 100 years, it's gone like online. And it is crazy that the only way that people are really meeting people these days is online, unless you're super fucking lucky. And you know, I really want to meet someone organically and not go through that way of social media or thing, but it's kind of hard. Like when I'm working in a strip club, I'm going to Pilates, which is mostly women-based. I'm going to dance, which is women or gays and theys, which is also like, I am bi, but I want a male partner, and that's just what I want at the moment, and that might change. But that, to my core, like I want a male partner, and I know that it's coming. I just hope it's not through social media. But if it is, like, you get what you get, you know? It's like you get what you get and you don't get upset. I'm kidding. I swear I had some more questions. I'm only going to do a couple more. I'm not going to do all of them because I just feel like this is already going for a long time and I've covered so many different topics. I've cried for you guys. Like, come on. But my experience of Blazing Swan, oh my God. Blazing Swan. If you don't know what Blazing Swan is the Burning Man of Australia. And it is 4 hours outside of Perth. And it is run by the people of Burning Man. And it is absolutely the most soul-quenching, like, if you imagine that you were so thirsty for water and you had like, you came across this like large bottle of water and you drank the whole thing, that's what Blaze feels like to my soul. Like it's like you spend a week out there in the dust, in the rain, in the mud, freezing cold, boiling hot, no reception. Your phone just gets chucked in a caravan or a tent, and you're just like meeting the most incredible people and helping others, and just in this whirlwind of like literal whirlwinds, dust storms, freaking storms, flooding, like anything can happen in Blaze, but you just take it on board and it's like you're held by Blaze. Like, I can never explain it to someone that hasn't been, because it's just like you can't buy or sell anything. You have to take everything with you. And when I went one time, it was torrential rain, and like people's stuff got absolutely flooded, and it was freezing cold, and it was like we were giving out our jumpers and our blankets from our cars because we slept in our cars. And it was just so beautiful to watch community come together and give and receive in different ways, and just be there experiencing it all together. I'm not going this year. I'll be in Darwin, and I'm very, very sad. I'm very sad. I get back on the Saturday night and I'm so tempted to just drive down for the Sunday. Someone tell me I should. Twist my arm. Anyway, next one. Do I prefer romance or plain and simple? Now, I think I've answered this in the last questions, but not really, but I'm a big romantic. Like, romance the fuck out of me. My heart just flooded just then. Like, I was just like, please. Buy me flowers. Like, take videos of me and make cute things. Like, I want it all. Like, I want to be swept off my feet. I want to be a little princess, but like, I will do the same right back. Like, I love romance. I love it so much. I like love the depths of it. Like, I want to feel and experience everything. And I think like romance is just so beautiful. Like, it says romance or just plain and simple, but plain and simple to me is romance. And obviously plain and simple, like, but I want the whole shebang. Like, I'm Fei, if you haven't noticed. Like, I want to experience so many things, and love and romance, I think, just goes so together. I'm not a plain and simple girl, so I'm not going to want to be loved plain and simply. Like, I want to be loved deeply, erotically, and fiercely, as well as purely and softly. You know, like, I want the multifaceted love spectrum, life spectrum, feelings, emotional spectrum. I'm going to end this one on a funny one because I'm nearly at an hour, and it's not going to be an hour. We'll scratch up. I'm going to end this one on a funny one just because I think I'm done with the questions. I'll save the other questions for another time. I really enjoyed doing this because I feel like you guys get to know me a lot better, and I get to go off on my little tangents without it being too ADHD and not sticking to like the one thing, which is something that I struggle with doing the podcast on one specific thing, because I just love to talk about so many different topics and whatever comes to my mind. And, you know, maybe that this podcast will evolve to that. And I think you're starting to see a lot of that when I get more comfortable with doing this. But yeah, let's end it on a funny one. Would I rather shit myself every time I cough or piss myself every time I sneeze? And I want everyone to comment down below what you would rather. And I'll tell you mine right now. I would 100% love to piss myself. Love? Right, girl. I would rather piss myself every time I sneezed. Because then, like, you kind of feel like, I guess, either way, you kind of feel it coming on. So I could, like, run somewhere, or I could just get, like, a little cup or something and catch my pee every time I sneezed. But then if you feel like you need a cough, you could just run to the toilet. But I cough a lot. Anyway, thank you for joining me today on Zero Filter. I'm Faye, And I have loved being here with you guys and answering your questions. And I hope that it has been enlightening and maybe a bit frightening and just overall funny and informative. But if you've enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are watching it on YouTube. If you're listening to me, I would really like if you followed along so you get an update when I've released another one. I will be in Darwin from Friday, so I'm hoping to record one with my two brothers and maybe my sisters-in-law, since they made me cry on here today, in the best way possible. But I love you guys. Stay safe, and thank you again for listening, watching, hearing me, submitting questions, just being there. It means a lot. So, bye.